What's going on, everybody? It's your boy AT Money, and today you'll be hearing my first round reactions to the NBA playoffs plus second round predictions. I know it's a little late, but it is what it is. But now, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Now let's get into the video. Now, I actually do have a scoring system for these predictions. I get 1 point for each predicted winner, and a half a point extra credit if I successfully predict how many games this series goes to. So, possibility of 12 points. And we start with the Knicks versus the Hawks. While this was a 4-seed and 5-seed matchup, I had the Knicks in 5 or 6. Instead, Trae Young silenced me. To keep it short and sweet, and as well to avoid the agony of Knicks fans, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett decided to disappear when it mattered. Considering they accounted for 39.8% of the offense, their inability to score efficiently was problematic. On top of that, they missed Mitchell Robinson in terms of their defense. His paint protection and pick-and-roll defense could have helped to limit the Hawks. The Hawks were shooting hot on the collective. And now I have to talk about the man of the hour, Mr. Trae Young. He's been on fire the entire series. He continues to be Atlanta's focal point. He should be a great player, and I think he will be one of the better players of his generation when all is said and done. And no points. Next up's the Bucks versus Heat. If I have to describe the series in 2 words, it would be domination and disappointment. The Bucks swept the Heat with Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Jrue Holiday putting on a monster series of individuals and a collective. They did everything you expect from a top 5 team. And what? They won big games? Yeah. Meanwhile, for the Heat, nothing seemed to work. They put up a fight on defense, but the regression on the offensive end is disturbing. Tyler Hero is a shell of himself. Goran Dragic is aging. Jimmy Butler is aging. And let's say they need to get Mr. Butler some help. Now. So, new star, second option, needs to be explored soon. I had this actually going down to a closer Game 7 type of vibe. I wasn't expecting to be right or wrong, and no points for me. Now for the Sixers-Wizards series. The Sixers won in 5, and their defense was stingy. They made the dynamic duo of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal a lot less potent, while exposing the Wizards for what they are, thin and top-heavy. The Sixers' offense looked sharp, and everything else stayed consistent, which is good for the second-best defense and a top 10 rebounding team. Despite my concerns about them in the long run, they looked good in this series. Now for the Wizards. That was disgusting. The lack of a defensive-minded big man is a problem, as the Sixers, specifically Embiid and Simmons, would attack the rim with seemingly no contest. Finally, I get some points on the board with a perfect 1.5. Let's go! Now, for the last series in the Eastern Conference, the Nets versus the Celtics. The Celtics then team was always going to be a problem against the deepest team in the association. But man, they struggled. They sure missed Jaylen Brown, because they could not find a capable scorer to fill those boots. Evan Fournier, Marcus Smart, and Romeo Langford would all try and fail to replace him. Also, the Celtics' lack of depth, as I've already said, has been exposed in late in games, as their bench was comfortably outclassed time and time again, and their starters had to play a little too long. For the Nets, they were themselves an efficient scoring machine. Their defense steadily improves. Their rebounding steadily improving. And there's nothing that can stop them. They're my favorites to win the NBA championship, and they've only gone from strength to strength. Another point for me. For the Western Conference, Jazz took care of a young Grizzlies team in 5. The Game 1 loss is unexpected, but the Jazz took control from here. They played immaculate basketball from Games 2 to 5 while shooting a gargantuan ton of threes. The bench depth at the center spot is concerning, as Gobert shouldn't be forced to play 40-plus minutes a night. While seeing a backup player with Donovan Mitchell off the floor would certainly be helpful, Utah played well, they progressed. As for the Grizzlies, this is an expected end. They're a young team that hasn't been battle-tested yet. Think about it. Morant's 20, Jackson's 20, Grayson Allen's in his 20s. Everybody's a bunch of young kids. So, instead, keep getting experience, keep getting to the playoffs, and keep deepening that squad. 1 point for me. Next up is the Suns versus the Lakers. What did I tell you? I warned you the Lakers need a secondary facilitator. I warned you their supporting cast was a great disappearing act. And which they were. Andre Drummond, Kyle Kuzma, Dennis Schroeder. Where'd you go? gone. AD's injury was the final straw, and the Lakers fell apart. LeBron did everything, but not even the best can do it alone. 1 point for me. I told you so. And now we go to the Blazers vs. Nuggets. While this was down to the wire with Damian Lillard 55-point Game 5, going down as one of the greatest playoff performances in the history, the Blazers' atrocious defense reared its ugly head again. I thought with this trade for Norman Powell, they would finally improve on that front. But no, it just did not happen. That defense was exposed for the world to see. And oh yes, they are a very thin team. So, the Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter show was too much to handle. Jokic won MVP, and while I still would have preferred Curry to win it, he definitely had a good enough year to qualify for it. Damian Lillard, file your trade request now. Drop your homebody excuses. You deserve better. You deserve to win. 1 point for me. Now, the Clippers versus the Mavericks. This was close, but not even Luka's heroics could save them from this one. Kristaps Porzingis has been wildly inconsistent, and the Mavs as a whole are too streaky to win in the playoffs. The Clippers progressed by the skin of their teeth thanks to Kawhi Leonard. No points for me. In total, 5.5 out of 12, which isn't stellar, but such is the nature of predictions. You live by the sword, you die by it. Now, I give the predictions a second attempt. For the Sixers-Hawks, I actually have the Hawks winning in 6. Trae Young's out to make enemies, and the Hawks are en fuego. The Sixers, Doc Rivers especially, have a semifinals problem while having that one-dimensional offense and overruns on Embiid, which I will do a breakdown on. For the Nets-Bucks, the Nets will win in 6. It is that simple. Their offense is too much. They continue to improve. The Bucks also have semis problems, like the Sixers, and in big moments lack that cutting edge required to be a champion. So, bye-bye. For the Jazz Clippers, I have the Jazz winning this one. While star power is great, it means nothing if there is no team. Last I checked, the best player wins MVP, the best team wins the championship. My point is, the Clippers need to show backup plan when Kawhi and PG aren't there. If Rajon Rondo is your only other shot creator, that's great. But now you need more shooters, as this guy's jump shot is borderline non-existent half the time. On top of that, the ball movement never been stellar. And oh right, this is Coach Tyronn Lue's first time in the playoffs without the cheat code that is LeBron James. Luke Kennard, you have a bunch of great players who really can put up points. But a bunch of individuals doesn't win games. A team wins games. The Jazz are a team, with the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. And when those parts have 3 All-Stars and Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and Donovan Spider Mitchell, yeah. And oh, did I forget about the 2 snipers, Bogdan Bogdanovic and Joe Ingles? Yeah, it's over in 6. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You can roast my pick'ems in the comments. That's all from me. And peace!